In this video, we're going to be introducing you to Microsoft Power BI. Power BI reports are highly interactive graphical representations of data. They are built with the Power BI Desktop, a low-code tool, and allow organizations of all sizes to be able to understand both large and small datasets critical to the running of their businesses. We're going to start in this video with a definition of what is Power BI, before going into the various stages that you'll need to go into in order to be able to build a Power BI report. The first of these is the Get Data stage, where we connect to a data source that's of interest to us, before moving on to the Transform Data stage, where we reshape the data into a way that is suitable for our reporting processes. In the Model Data step, we take our data tables and relate them to each other. And we may enhance our model by bringing in new data fields and also measures, aggregations of data that we'll use in our Power BI visualizations. In the Build Report step, we will be creating all of the report pages and the visualizations inside them before publishing to the Power BI service and then managing the report within the context of the Microsoft Power BI service. So let's learn some more about Power BI. So what is Power BI? It's fundamentally a data visualization tool. It lets you easily connect to your data sources, transform and model your data, before going on to visualizing your data using a wide range of visualizations. And once you're happy with your report, you can share it to the rest of your organization. There are several elements of the Power BI product set, and these are the Power BI Desktop authoring product, the Power BI service, and the Power BI mobile app. And in this course, we'll be focusing on the Power BI Desktop and Power BI service. Power BI is one of the few products within the Power Platform portfolio where you need a desktop application on your computer. The application is free to download, and we use this product to author our Power BI reports before publishing them to the Power BI service. The majority of Power BI reports go through 5 creation stages. Firstly, we get data, and in the context of the exercise that we'll be carrying out, we'll be connecting to Dataverse and our loans data. Once we've connected to the data, we'll select the tables we need before transforming the data into a shape that's desirable for our data model. And we often call the first 2 steps ETL, extract, transform, and load. In the model data step, we create relationships between our tables and add any necessary columns so that we can have a model that is suitable for the sort of report that we wish to build. Whether or not it's a bar chart of the loans taken out and the months in which those loans are taken out, or a tree map with our students included. And once we've built a report to our satisfaction, we publish it to a workspace in the Power BI service. Once it's in the service, we'll want to manage the report by sharing it to the people that need it and also ensuring that it's kept up to date. Let's consider for a moment the Get Data stage of building a Power BI report. There are a really wide range of data sources that you can connect Power BI to, whether that's Microsoft products such as Excel or SharePoint, through to third-party products such as Salesforce, Oracle, or SAP. As you can see, there are a really wide range of Power BI data sources, whether it's files held locally, Power Platform data sources, databases, Azure services, through to third-party online services. And once you've connected to your data, you'll probably want to transform your data. And transforming data can be as simple as removing columns, through to merging data, filtering data, and even pivoting it. And all this is done to give us the tables in the shape that we need in order to drive our data visualizations. And the tool that we're using to connect to and transform any data is called Power Query. And it's the T in the extract, transform, and load process. Power Query is a low-code data transformation tool, and a series of transformation steps are recorded. And we'll be using this tool to transform data within our school library Dataverse tables. Once you transform the data, you'll land it into your Power BI data model so that you can work on it further. A Power BI data model is a series of tables linked by relationships between them, along with a series of calculations known as measures. And in the exercises, we're going to be creating a date table using DAX, whereas we'll use Power Query to connect to Dataverse data. Let's consider for a moment table relationships. On screen is a data model representing the sales for an organization. We'd consider this to be a star schema data model, and that's because we have a central sales transaction table connected to a series of tables that tell us more about those sales transactions. And we call these tables dimension tables. If we take a look at the relationship between the customer table and the sales table, we can see that in the customer table there is one instance of each customer, whereas in the sales table you may find that same customer multiple times. That's because we may sell things to the customer more than once. And the same is true for product, sales territory, reseller, sales order, and date. When we consider relationship types, we often talk about one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. There is one customer and many sales, or when we turn the relationship around, many sales and one customer, and it's even possible to have many-to-many, such as many courses attended by many people. Whilst on the screen we're looking at a star schema data model, a snowflake schema is simply one more level down, or even more than one level down. When we model our data, we start to be introduced to data analysis expressions, DAX. It's the formula expression language of Power BI, and you'll find that it's very similar in construction to that of Excel formulas. We use DAX to create calculated columns and calculated tables, in addition to creating measures, which are aggregations of our data. Measures can be used in a range of ways, from simply totaling our sales through to averaging and even using text-based aggregations. In addition to performing simple aggregations that only look at one table, they may even span multiple Power BI tables, and we'll see this in our exercises. Measures are only calculated where they're used, and they recalculate themselves based on the filtering that's currently in place. For example, if we have a total loans measure and use it within a matrix, and the matrix uses the student name on rows, then we'll see a matrix that shows us the loans taken out by our students. Once we've modeled our data, we're then going to want to go on and build our report. And to do this, we'll need to think very carefully about the visualizations that we use to present our data. We'll need to consider what pages we have on our report and what those pages are for. And in the example shown, we can see that there are 5 pages. A landing page, a filters page, a current loans page, a student's review page, and a hidden detail page. This is the student book loans review page, and we can see a number of different visualizations. We can see 3 cards along the top, a tree map with the names of our students and how many books they've taken out on loan, a bar and line chart which shows us on a month-by-month basis how many loans have been taken out, in addition to the degree to which they change year on year. And finally, there is a matrix indicating the names of the students, the total loans they've taken out, how many they took out last year, and how much it's changed year on year. And whilst in this case we're talking about student loans, in an organisation you might be talking about regions, departments, or products. At the heart of any truly useful Power BI report is the ability to filter down the data. When we filter the data down, we get to see any trends or anomalies. And you should never think of a Power BI report as being just one way of looking at your data. It's actually many ways of looking at it. And it may well be that the detection of anomalies means that you need to introduce new pages into your report with new measures and new visuals. Once you've built your report, you're going to want to publish this into the Power BI service. And in Power BI, we publish to workspaces, and you can publish to My Workspace, a space just for yourself, or to a workspace where you work with multiple individuals. And we'll see examples of both of these. One of the most powerful aspects of Power BI is that you can refresh your data. And that means that all the hard work that you put into transforming your data, modeling your data, creating your visuals, and arranging them on their pages will update with the latest data. There are two ways of including data within your Power BI reports. One is via importing the data into your report, and this allows you to create powerful measures, and these are subject to periodic refreshers. Whereas with Direct Query, the data is always up to date, but you have less flexibility on how you transform and present your data. Once you have your powerful Power BI insights, you're going to want to share your report with people within your organization. And we'll see during the exercises there are a range of ways of doing this. You can share with individuals or you can share with groups. And provided that it's been set up correctly in your organization, you can share outside of it. And it's important to understand that sharing reports, giving people permission to see that report, isn't the same as distributing that report. Power BI can exist within Teams, SharePoint, PowerPoint, via direct link, and it can even be shown within Power Apps. And we'll cover many of these during the demonstrations. I hope you're looking forward to learning about and building Power BI reports. So let's get started.